Well, hello, and hello. Happy Friday. Happy Friday to everyone, my brothers and my sisters in the Lord. This is the day that the Lord has made, and we shall rejoice and truly be glad in it. I'm so excited about being alive. I'm excited about God being in my life. I'm just grateful. I'm grateful, and I'm grateful, and I'm here again. That's why I come on. Because I'm grateful to God and I'm thankful to Him, and everything I do, I'm doing it for Him, and just whenever He decides to smile my way, whenever He decides to bless me, I just want to let Him know, God, that I'm available. I'm available, God, and so that's why I do what I do, and I'm encouraged. I'm encouraged, and for those of you that are discouraged, be encouraged. Be encouraged because God is here. He's here. He's a very present help in a time of trouble. And so if you're in some kind of trouble in your time, and right now, God can show up. He can show up and He can come in between you and your trouble. And He might not remove the trouble, but He can teach you how to deal with it. He can teach you how to ignore it. He can teach you how to draw strength from trouble. And see, because the good news is that trouble has an expiration date. No matter kind of trouble you might be sitting in, you might be resting in, what kind of trouble might be talking to you, what kind of trouble might be beating you up or running up the top or down the bottom of you, whatever kind of hail or whatever kind of fire or whatever kind of situation you might find yourself in. If you called on Him, just like those Hebrew boys that were in their fiery furnace, and because they called on Him, He was in there with them, and what was burning didn't get them. It didn't get them, but what it did, it made them free. It made them free in their flames. See, the flames might be flaming, and troubles might be coming up and around you. See, but when you get Jesus and when you call on Him and when you trust Him, He will cover you and He will protect you and He will give you liberty in your flames. And so, but I want to encourage right quick, but this is what I want to say. I do have a word. I do have a prophetic word for all of us. All of us, and many of you wonder why, and you find yourself facing the same test. You find yourself in this space. Many of you, it's like deja vu. You find yourself in the same place again. Man, I've been here before. Man, I'm living this way. I'm thinking this way. And it's like a cycle. But what it is like a cycle. It's like a test. And in the test, if in the test you fail the test, or you don't get the understanding or the wisdom from the test, you'll find that same test coming back again. Come back again. It'll come back again. That test going to keep coming back. It's going to keep coming back until you be able to pass it. Graduation comes when you're in school. Graduation comes when you pass the test. Because when it's exam time, and if you don't pass the exam, you can't go to the next grade. And so in cases where you fail the test, you get a makeup test or another makeup test. And so what God does, because of His grace, He gives us makeup tests. You know, and that's why He says grace is sufficient. A righteous man will fall 7 times, but God will pick him up. And so you might fail the test, you might fall, but God is saying, don't stay there. Get back up. Take that test again. Learn from, and see the thing about it, when you fail the test, you should learn the questions that you missed. You had the wrong answers to. See, Solomon says to get wisdom and to get knowledge, you got to go through sorrow and grief. And so it comes through pain. It comes through missing it. It comes through being wrong, misjudging, misguessing. That's how wisdom comes. It comes painful, but that pain is the seal, is the sickness, is the sting that is seared in your emotions that you remember. Just like when you get hurt so bad, it's sealed or seared in your memory. You remember what it felt like because you remember the pain. You remember the hurt. And so it's the same thing. And so in the story of Matthew's, the 25th chapter, and you can go at the 20th verse or whatever. It talks about a man. He have to go to this far country. He got to go to this far country. And so he had these talents. And so he had these 3 servants. And so he said, I'm going to get this 1 5, get this 1 2, go get this 1 1. And he told him to occupy till he come. And so the one that is faithful, when he come back, he's going to give him more. And so he went away, but he came back. And when he came back, the one that he had gave 1 to buried his. But the other 2, the talents that they had, they worked. They expanded. They expanded what they had. It was money, talents. They expanded what they had. But the one that had the 1 buried it. And this is what God is doing. This is what God is doing. And the one that buried his, the master punished him and took what he had and gave the one that was working. The one that had 5, that had got 10, gave him another one. And so what it came down to accountability, and it came down to management. And that's why he said that occupy till I come, and when I come back, I reward those that are faithful. The one that was unfaithful, that buried his and didn't do nothing at all, he was cast out. And this is what's happening right now. God has given us, the scripture says, if you be faithful over a few things, he will make us rule over many, right? And so God has given all of us a possession. He's given us all his possession, and it comes in many forms. And a lot of times it comes in a form that we don't like or we don't expect. But God is looking at how we manage it, how we handle it, how we deal with it. It's just like one of the reasons why it's very difficult to give someone who's not used to money a lot of money, because once they get the money, they'll lose their mind. They won't know how to react. They're just spend it on all kind of stuff instead of using the money to help and to do things to help others, to be an impact, to invest. That's the purpose of a blessing, is to invest, that you might grow and get more. That's like with a seed. Just think about it. One man can plant seeds through the whole field, but it's going to take many, many men and women when it's harvest time to pick it up. And so the scripture said that the harvest is plenteous, but the laborers are few. And so it is harvest time. It is harvest time. But what God is looking for is workers. Workers. And see, the thing about it, you cannot reap someone else's harvest. Even God said in one of the books in the Old Testament, no more shall your enemy reap from where you sowed. No more. But you shall be repaid 7 times. And so what it is a test. Many things, there's a test that keep coming. Whether it's financially, where it's in a relationship, where it's mental, where it's dealing with your kids, where it's dealing with family members or whatever, it's a test. And if you keep failing that test, God is not going to graduate you or get you to come, because the harvest is here. He's waiting. But we have to be ready mentally, emotionally, to be able to deal with or handle it. If not, we're going to lose it, just like the people who are not used to money. So there's an elevation, but you have to be faithful right here in what he's given us and what he's given you, what he's given me. And so God is looking at our faithfulness. So this is a test. What you're dealing with, where it seems like the same cycle, it seems like you're in a holding pattern. It's a test. You keep going around the same circle. It's a test. God is looking at your character, but he's looking at how you're dealing with it. Because once you become faithful over the little bit of what he's giving you right now, then instinctively, the rest gonna come. See, but the rest is being held up because you keep failing it. You keep failing that test. It keep coming the same way. And that's why he keeps saying watch as well as pray. But you have to notice the patterns. What the enemy is doing. And don't fail it this time. Because your blessing is waiting on you. And so it is a test. It's a cycle. The cycle done came around again. And so it's knocking at your door again. Now, are you going to take what God has given you and abuse it? Or are you going to use it? Are you going to invest? Are you going to draw the moment, the teaching moment behind what God is speaking to you right now, and do what's right and pass the test? It's about accountability. See, the thing about it, one of the reasons why people now don't want to get married because they don't want to commit. Because when you commit to something, you got to do it. You're tied to your word. And so that's what God is looking at, your word. Your word. Because a man's name, a good name is far greater than rubies. See, this is what God is looking at, your word. If man can't trust your word, then how can God trust you with his word? How can God bless you with a little bit? Or how can God trust you with a little bit and you abuse it? Why would he give you more? And so that's why God is holding it back until you pass the test. Become grateful. Manage what God has given you. Appreciate it. And the moment that you appreciate what God has given you, then more will come. It's about faithfulness. See, this is why God is working and dealing with our emotions. Be angry, but don't sin not. Because it's in our emotions that mislead us. The way of a man, what is it? There's a way that seems right unto a man, but the end of that way is death. We think it's right, but we're going wrong. And so the test here is again. You want what you've been praying for. You want what you've been asking for. Simple. Pass the test. That's all you got to do. Pass the test. Is that all right? Good morning. God bless you.